Who is doing the counting of all of the beans or the money, let's say, for one Shohei Ohtani? Fourier, I don't know what to make of the story that was, I do believe Trina Thompson of ESPN is the one that broke the story. So there are, as like with every story, there's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Some people see things differently. Yeah. So according to one side of the story, the Dodgers have let go the interpreter for Shohei Ohtani because it is being alleged that just this gentleman used $4.5 million of Shohei's money to bet. Then you have the other. Then there is the other side where the interpreter is saying, "Oh no! I was covering for Otani-san in doing all this." I think that's just kind of the basis for where we're at.
So a report's coming out about Shohei Ohtani's interpreter.
A massive theft was used.
But it was first – this is where it gets confusing is because initially it was the interpreter said Ohtani knew about it. He sent the wire for me, and he sent it directly to the bookie because he didn't trust me to pay. He thought if he paid me directly, I would just go gamble it again. So that's how it started.
All right.
And then it turns into Ohtani says his people said, no, that isn't the case. He stole the money from me.
There was a statement put out saying, quote, "In the course of responding to recent media inquiries, we discovered that Shohei has been a victim of a massive theft, and we are turning the matter over to authorities."
So it sounds to me like, okay, let's go with this story. Okay, you go out, you say I was a good friend, but why'd you pay me the money? What am I going to say? Well, you didn't trust me because I'm a degenerate gambler, and you knew I would just go gamble it again, so you sent it directly to the bookie. Yeah, but they're going to know I sent $4.5 million. They're going to think I'm doing it. No, we got it. They realize it sounds shady. It actually leads to more questions.
Well, because the one thing about the regulated sportsbook market, which, whenever you hear your local politician, oh, the children, oh, the problems of gambling, Christian, my God, you make it so easy. People are going to blow all of their money. You idiots. It's regulated. And in the regulated market, you know what you do? You have to go over to the window there with the guy that's officially licensed in the sports book and say, here's my $5 for my $5 parlay. When you bet in an unregulated market, that's how this stuff can happen. You start betting on Hawk. You start betting on, oh, yeah, my guy's good for it and all that stuff. Like, that's the part of the sports gambling sort of like knocking the stigma and the walls down that has driven me nuts. You can't walk in unless you can get a marker, which you've proven you have the money. You're not going to walk into a regulated sports book or go online and do your thing. But if you want to bet with, I don't know, Knuckles, Nunzio, the Yakuza, whatever in the world it is, they're the ones who will take a wire transfer because it isn't on the up and up. It isn't unregulated. It's the people who go to the unregulated markets that get in trouble because they get $5,000 in Hawk, and you know what they do? They drag you out in the alley and beat the crap out of you.
And oh, by the way, if you're the interpreter, I got it.
All right,
I'm making it like it's normal. See that? I just ignore like it's normal word that we all use. I just learned. I listened to you. You should be happy. Good. So in order for, let's say I'm Joe Bookie just rolling around and I'm taking bets, and you're an interpreter. I don't know what you make, but I have an idea what your max value is. So I am not going to let you continually make bets that after you've already lost and you're already in debt unless somebody vouches for you. Unless I know you can cover the bets, right? Like, so somehow Ohtani has to be involved in some way, shape, or form. Unless the interpreter just flat out lied and said, he's my guy, he's feeding me, this is really him, he's making all the bets, I'm using his money. I mean, I don't have any money, right? I mean, that is the only freaking way this could actually happen. He has to be involved somehow.
Can you hold? Oh, my God. I need to stop down for a second. This guy who is
this? I couldn't even say
hold
his
on.
name.
This guy is the interpreter.
Okay.
Mizuhara. Okay. Do you know what this guy gets paid roughly annually from an MLB team to be an interpreter?
I'm going to go with $1 million a year.
That's a little high, but between $300,000 and $500,000 annually for the guy to just travel with him and interpret stuff when need be.
Not even work.
$400,000.
Yeah.
$400,000 from a big league team. So the guy ain't broke, but he ain't making, $1 million bets at least.
I heard that the interpreter, I saw this thing on John Heyman about how the interpreter was just really kind of a jerk.
Well, Mizuhara told ESPN on Tuesday his bets are placed on international soccer, the NBA, the NFL, and college football. Apparently, he said, quote, I never bet on baseball. That's 100%. I knew that rule. We have a meeting about that in spring training. Now, so for those, because the rules are different. Like, remember the Lions players who got pinched for making a DraftKings bet or whatever in the team facility, got suspended. MLB players and employees are allowed to bet on other sports other than baseball, but not with illegal bookmakers or offshore websites, because those are the ones where you can get in trouble. The league rulebook states the bets placed with the illegal bookmakers are subject to punishment at the commissioner's discretion. Trina Thompson's the person who broke this story. Here's a little bit of her with, I think, Screamin' A and some others on ESPN.
Otani's name was on a wire transfer, or I should say wire transfers, that had been sent to the bookmaking operation. Ohtani's spokesperson then facilitated an interview with the interpreter, Ippei Mitsuhara. He laid out a story where he said that he had gotten in over his head. I'm paraphrasing here, of course, that he had gotten in over his head and had accumulated so much debt, which, as you mentioned, sources had told us was about at least $4.5 million, that he had gone to Ohtani and had said, can you help me? And Ohtani eventually offered to pay off his debt. Of course, things then dramatically changed. Ohtani has not been accused of a crime.
Of course.
If anything, his lawyers have said that he is the victim, the potential victim of an alleged crime. I will tell you, we have sourcing that says that Major League Baseball is following closely what's coming out of that U.S. Attorney's office.
All right. So what do you believe?
So Ohtani's camp sets up the interview for the interpreter to go speak to ESPN. They set it up. So they obviously thought that they had their ducks in a row. Here's what we're going to say. Be honest or not. Say this. They change their mind and decide that the new storyline, the new narrative that needs to be pushed, is that he was a victim. And regardless of what they thought at first, they need to change course right away. To me, I can't imagine all the high-priced people you have around you because you make so much money and you're so popular in multiple countries that you would lead off with that. That's what you lead off with? The other aspect of this, Gresh, okay, because I've seen some of our other friends, in the business talking about this. How badly do you think Major League Baseball wants to pursue this? How much digging do they really want to do? How fearful are they about the digging that they have to do? Let's say it comes to a massively terrible outcome for their biggest, brightest, most expensive star in their sport. Do they want to know the truth?
They, in a way, I think we are going to find out the truth not because of our media, but because of the Japanese media that travel around with Ohtani. I think that there will be someone out there who will crack the code on this. And we'll find out maybe exactly what is going on. Now, it might be reported. So I do think there is a difference between what MLB wants to know and what the media will report in trying to chase down this story. MLB, nope. They don't want nothing to do with this.
You can't handle the truth.
They would love to be able to brush this right under the rug. Nothing to see here. Gambling's a part of our world. That guy, interpreter, he's out of here. We don't have to worry about it anymore. I just wonder if the crazy Japanese media will let this go and not try to get to the bottom of it, because Otani's big business over there. This would be the equivalent in our country. And again, I know it's a different sport, but like when Tom Brady were, say, playing in the NFL, if there was questions of this, oh, did you wire this, or, did you do offshore betting and all that kind of stuff, people here would dig in and try to find out because of the enormity of the celebrity.
See, the other aspect of this story is, the person who doesn't really follow baseball, they go, oh, it's his interpreter. Wow. I mean, but they're like best friends. Ohtani and this interpreter. They're together all the time. Because if I went to my boss and said, hey, Ken, man, I'm in a jam. I need $1 million. I mean, honest to God, I know Ken is not going to be able. There's holes in his pockets all of a sudden. Like, sorry, I'll be right back, and he runs out of town. There's those guys. Now, I wouldn't implicate, Ohtani just by association,
right?
And I don't think you can be guilty by association,
right? I would say that,
but there are some high schools that do that.
There are
some high schools that do that.
That's right. They shrivel up in big discussions.
Yep. Make terrible decisions, ruin people's lives. But that's okay. They do that.
More nervous than a dog pooping
yeah.
seeds.
So I am curious. Like, he's such a big star. He's so important to the league that there's no way this becomes like as big as it should be, because this is a horrible look.
It could be, but here's the thing. We've actually now learned that Ohtani is not a robot. We find out he's married, right, to some, I think,
badass basketball player.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So we find out in on the ladies and married and all
lady.
That stuff. I mean, are fine.
Maybe there were ladies at one point.
And he might be a gambler. I mean, he's
always the quiet ones, Gresh.
And he's got $700 million coming on his schedule over the next 30 years or whatever in the world it is. Because here's the thing, right? So I try to think, what if, like, me and my best friend were in this spot, right? But if I had a $700 million net worth, or if the other way around, if like my man Nelson did, and we were gambling and he covered something like this or whatever, I'd be like, dog, you're worth $700 million. Throw me under the bus. I know you got me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we look at this and be like, oh, who did what? Meanwhile, that interpreter would have been like, dog, we've been friends forever. You got $700 million. Are you going to let me drown? Nope. Good. Throw back that bus right over that interpreter.
No,
and he
true.
knows he's taken care of by the $700 million man.
And that's the point. So you try to, like, kind of hide it with the story being, he bailed me out.
Oh, yeah.
It's really probably the other way around.
It could
be.
Like,
any detective was sitting there going, this doesn't make any sense.
Ooh, Papa Foye.
Oh, he's out there in L.A., too. Like, get him off the couch. He's ready.
I was just going to say, would like Ted Wells in the Wells Report, would he take $2 million to be able to investigate all this and break it down?
If this was like Matt Hamachek, he would do a 10-part docuseries just ripping. It would be just on this. And somehow Bill would be involved. Bill would still be the problem.
That interpreter would be the SOB that Bill Belichick was,
somehow
allegedly.
Bill would be involved in this, and he would be asked about it, and Bill would say, I don't know what you're talking about. See, he's quiet again.